Pine Bluff, Arkansas. If approved, that will be agenda item number 9. Oh yeah, just resolutions to be added.
Make a motion to accept these resolutions to be added.
All right, I'll second that. Do we have any other business for ordinances and resolutions? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And I will second. Number 9 is, did you get a copy of it? That's about the seal. Number 8 is cemetery. The budget adjustment for the cemetery. 7 is for outdated records in transit. And what's that, sir?
I do not have cemetery.
You don't have cemetery? Let me see. Cemetery is number 8.
I have number 6.
It may be in there somewhere.
I have number 6 as technology one stop. Is that?
Yes, ma'am.
That's number 6.
Number 6 is one stop.
And number 7, I have as destroying the records of Census Department.
Yes, ma'am. Number 8 is that cemetery one.
I don't have it.
Okay.
Thank you for attending tonight's city council meeting, March 16th. And we have 0 residents signed up to speak on for public or make public comments for agenda items. And so I will call the meeting to order and ask for Evangelist Lee Elkins of Hazel Street Church of Christ to come to the podium and lead us with invocation.
Just to start off, thank you all for the opportunity opportunity to be able to come here to pray with you guys and for you guys. And I thank you for your hospitality and the little small care package given to me. Thank you. And I ask that you bow your heads as we go to our Heavenly Father in prayer. Our Holy Father in heaven, we come to you in prayer. We give you thanks for all the many wonderful blessings that you blessed us with. We're so thankful for this day as we've had a beautiful day and you woke us up to see another day, and we were able to go throughout our day and travel safely here to be able to talk about, have discussions about city ordinances and things going on in the city and making decisions here. And we're so thankful for all of the men and women here who are sacrificing their time to serve this community. And we ask that you be with them individually and be with their families, strengthen and comfort them as only you know how. And we ask that as they go on through this evening, as they are having discussions and making decisions, that they can all seek to be honest and fair and sincere in their efforts to help bring good to the city. And we ask that you rain down blessings on the city of Pine Bluff as they are striving to do great and many wonderful things here. And be with us as citizens of this town. And may we be patient and kind and considerate with one another and with the leaderships, and we allow them to make these decisions, and that we stand by them in their decisions. We know that you are Lord of all. You have ordained government, federal, state, county, and city government, and so we need to respect your willingness and your purpose that you have for us in our daily lives. We ask that you bless us all as they go throughout this meeting this evening and throughout the days of our lives. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much again for this. And next we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Zion Thomas and Zaven Thomas of Friendship Academy.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And when Madam Clerk returns to her seat, I'm just going to talk slowly so that I give her a chance to sit down. And Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Reed. Councilmember Holcomb. Councilmember Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Lockett.
Here.
Councilmember Frazier.
Here.
Councilmember Brunson. Councilmember Denton. And Councilmember Fails.
Thank you so much. And next, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from March 2nd, 2026. It's been moved and seconded that the minutes from March 2nd, 2026 be approved. Any discussion? No discussion. All of those who wish to vote for the approval, the minutes from March 2nd, 2026, and please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we will hear our committee reports, and we will start with Ways and Means. Councilmember Brown, will you please deliver your report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Ways and Means met just before this council meeting. Tonight, we just have one budget adjustment. It is coming from the cemetery department, and it was a total of $32,692. This is gonna be agenda item number 8. It is approved by the council to be added to the agenda. Also, each council member should have a report in front of you for our legislative audit. And all of those discrepancies that were described between the Parks and Recreation and also Finance, those have been, the mayor has addressed those with the department heads, and she has also sat down with the Legislative Joint Auditing Committee to address those issues. And so either through processes or through the investigation of parks, those issues will be resolved. Yes.
Brother Brown, I'm quite confused about whatever that is, but I would like to see at some point in time between the mayor and the finance director, we drill down, because I'm really thrown off, because I'm reading the paper about 600,000, but the numbers don't add up. There's no 600,000.
That was incorrect.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so much in the paper had that we had a $4 million deficit in the editorial. I don't know where those numbers come from.
I would ask that, all council members refer to the audit report. That is the official document. That is what the state has recognized and approved, and that's what we spoke to.
Yeah, I would like to have correct information relayed to the public, because there is a tendency in this town for there to be erroneous information presented to the public that reflects badly on the council, and the numbers are never right. I give you an example. Now, we had an appropriation of $860,000. I had to call certain internet influencers. They were, sometimes 600,000 keeps coming up. Or it was, so what I'm saying is,
Wait, okay, hold on. You were giving an example of 860,000, and you're talking about something.
somebody put out 680,000. And what I'm saying is, this thing about inaccurate information. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to see, everybody kept talking about 600,000 that was stolen in parks. And you look at the audit report, the numbers don't. I'm trying to figure out, did somebody transpose the number? But what I'm saying is, when the media puts out a number, or when they put out information, people tend to believe that they're putting out accurate information. And if they're not putting out accurate information, we need to correct it.
I would agree, and if you will give us an opportunity to circle back to the commercial and ask for a correction in the paper, I think that is the answer. And I don't mind a meeting to drill down on anything. However, I would ask for, especially the council, to make sure to read the report, because in the report, there are responses from the affected departments that illuminate what changes have been made and what the reasons were for the findings. The other thing that I would suggest, and I would be happy to send the link, is it was not very long at all, but if you would please take a little bit of time to look at the video of our presentation.
Awesome.
Because, yeah, and I think that will also give you, that'll enlighten you. And you all have been a part of some of the changes we made as it relates to the legislation, the legislative changes, but also there have been policy changes made to ensure that the fraud, waste, and abuse that we discovered last May when we hired a new director, and I just want it to be clear that that's who found it, and as soon as that the irregularities were found, there was swift action taken. We discovered more. We turned over everything to the proper authorities and then made the appropriate changes to ensure that those things never happen again. I think it's important that you all hear the video and read the report so that when we do have a meeting, and again, I welcome that we can engage in the meeting with the factual information that exists. And once again, I will be happy to follow up with the editor of the commercial and ask that they, because I saw that too, and it does need to be done. I just didn't have a chance to do it today, to ask that they make a correction in the paper.
Okay, and you know, a few other things that we need to address, like they said, there were 5 vendors that didn't get approval from the council. We're trying to figure out how did that happen, and get
No.
inappropriate.
So again, if you read in the report, it talks about 5 accounts that were created by the former staff person and normally something like that would have to be, go through the council for approval. The other thing is departments are not even allowed to open those accounts on their own, and that was done outside of the knowledge of, I can speak to, from my understanding, from this mayor's office, we had no knowledge of those accounts. The only way that we became privy is when the initial irregularity occurred, that staff person was immediately suspended, then that gave us an opportunity to see emails and other documentation electronically and in the office, and that's when we discovered 5 accounts like Amazon and Best Buy and those kinds of accounts that we didn't even know existed. Okay, so that's what it's referring to, and that's why I'm really, you know, I'm not trying to be funny at all. I think that if you read the report, you'll get more clarity on what some of that means, and then also get a little bit more context for those of you who haven't had a chance to look at the video, to see all of the things that we have with you and within the executive put in place to address these things. And I'll finally add that 2 things. First of all, any discrepancies and misinformation that occurs online, on social media, we have absolutely no control over that. And I don't think that can or should be something that we as an official body respond and react to, because I promise you, if we start doing that, we'll never get a chance to stop. And then, as it relates to this particular matter, I mean, I'll stop there.
Now, the only thing I want to say is that I find it very important, you know, once I spoke with the particular social influencer, which is, she's pretty prominent, right? She does a lot. So it's very important that we get good information out. But I just want to make sure, when I read something, usually I call somebody and say, where did they get this from? But I just want to make sure that going forward, you know, I read the report and I looked at the presentation online, and 90% of what's in this audit is good. I mean, what I'm saying is, it's just this one page that drills down the park record. You know what I'm saying? So, it's, you know, people dwell on the negative, but I just want to make sure that we're catching everything, because I didn't know how we were going to deal with it. I know we're going to get the purchasing person, but that person is not on board yet.
Correct.
So
Because we're doing the inventory first. But I mean, with what happened, it really requires some of what we're trying to do in the way of standard operating procedures. You know, the new software system and you'll hear about that tonight. There are certain things that can be done, but sometimes people are just good at cheating and stealing. And I think in this case, because there were things that occurred within and outside of the existing system, unless you had suspicions and delved into it and asked certain questions, you just weren't gonna know. You know, and when you have people making really good copies, forged copies of statements and sending it in for payment, there's no way for someone to know unless you catch a glitch. If it looks like it has most of the factual information, like the invoice number and the pricing, it would have taken what it took for something to happen to come up, then people not being in the office and being able to continue to cover up and hide information and destroy information. And the other thing I'll remind you is that last year, I think it was in June, is when we first started sharing information publicly with the council about what had happened. And then Director Holman kind of did an internal audit and put some information together and shared that as well. This is just the state. And as you all know, they audit from the previous year. So they looked at some of 25, but they were working on 24, and they went back and looked at 23 once we said, hey, this is going on. And now we're just reporting on what they did last year, but we knew about this, we shared it, we discussed it, and this is really just the state catching up to where we already were. You all know we met with legal authorities, we shared information internally and within the city and within the department. So again, I don't mind having a meeting at all, sharing more details. At this point, it still has not been sent to the prosecutor. And we're still in the midst of our own forensic audit, which we will expand as it relates to this department, so that we can see if there's anything else that could be uncovered where we can come back as a department and as a city and say, okay, we didn't catch that, we caught that. Maybe we need to change some things here to make sure it doesn't happen again. Because that's where we're focused, is, you know, we turned everything over as it relates to the law and law enforcement. We are looking at this for these 5 infractions, for these 5 accounts, like where are we as a city and as a Parks and Rec department in our processes and our staffing, how can we make any changes so that we can protect the city's finances, you know, etc. Councilmember Frazier.
I just wanted to be on the record. I don't know if you noticed in council, but usually the legislative audit mails us a copy, and I didn't get it until I got here today. And I didn't know anything until I saw something on Facebook with your picture on it. So I just wanted the public to know, because a lot of times they think that we always
No.
know.
And I didn't know that you didn't get it. As a matter of fact, Councilmember Brown didn't get his. I didn't know that, because that doesn't come from
It
us.
doesn't come from you.
But, you know, but once we found out, that's why we made sure that there were copies for everybody, so that, you know, this discussion, we had the information. And since 2 members at least, and I don't know if anybody else didn't get their copy, then we probably do need to have a follow-up meeting, and we'll make sure that anything that has been sent out or done over the course of the year, that you have that information as well. Okay. Well, thank you, Councilmember Brown, for all of that.
That concludes my report.
Okay. And I believe, Councilmember Brown, you were going to lead the ordinances and resolutions since in Councilmember Holman's absence.
Yes, ma'am. So ordinances and resolutions met just before this council meeting. Tonight we have 2 ordinances to be considered. We would like to try to finish those this evening because they are related to items in the police department related to bonuses, and they're trying to get that moved as soon as possible. We also have on the printed agenda 3 other resolutions to be considered and finished tonight by the council, and we have 4 added resolutions. We'll have to add those individually. The first one being a resolution approving an agreement with One Stop Technical Resource Services for professional services regarding technology assistance. I move that we add this item to the agenda.
It's been moved and seconded that we add,
Agenda item number 6.
agenda item number 6 to the agenda. Any discussion? If no discussion, Madam Clerk, Councilmember, Bluff.
Okay. I have a question. Now, to what are they to do? I know they are tech companies, but what about, I'm just getting there. I'm just trying to discern.
Yes.
What particular tasks are they gonna do in our IT department?
So our IT department had a contract with another company to manage email and to provide secure email. And what I discovered once we had a couple of IT audits is that the email services that were being rendered for the city was utilizing technology that was literally 25 years old. And we were extremely vulnerable in terms of the security of our entire system because as I learned, you know, when you look at hackers and when you look at situations where cities' systems have been taken over for ransom, it usually happens through email vulnerabilities. So this is largely a contract to correct and upgrade our system security, our email security, but also our email services. We did not have Outlook Exchange, and now we have that, and also the executive office and cabinet members would also have access to technologies associated with Microsoft 360. And that had to be done as a government entity, and we started last year looking to see what the cost would be if we went through Microsoft directly. And no matter who we went to, it was relatively the same. It's very different. It's a very different cost being a private residential owner of this or purchaser of this software than several users within a government entity. And so it's a significant cost increase, but basically how we would be paying for it is the monies that are left over in 2 line items that have typically had funding left over, and we'll be able to upgrade and secure our system accordingly. And we went through an RFP process for our IT department and director did at the time, and went through that twice to make sure to afford an opportunity to get as many folks to apply or to submit proposals, and this company was the proposal winner. Councilman Frazier.
It says March 1st, 2026, and we're already in the middle of March.
Well, I think that's, it's kind of a glitch because it started out where we had intended on submitting this earlier, and you all already know that we had major issues with New World as well as our email. And so we could make that change to today, but they were on site working with us on some other issues, and they ended up helping us tremendously because, as you all also know, our IT director, who had been out, who had been out because of an accident, is out. Well, I don't want to say, but is out indefinitely.
I didn't know that until just now.
And so, the only reason I didn't want to say that is I'm not saying any names, you know, per se, but at the same time, it's important to note that, because that change just occurred less than a week ago, or a little over a week ago, and that has made us really vulnerable in terms of having IT resources and leadership, particularly as it relates to our email and New World while we're transitioning from New World to cloud technology.
Okay, one more thing. It says IT under number 4, it's not numbered. But where it says 2.1, first level help desk services, it says IT staff management. Are they going to be managing our staff? What does that really entitle?
So we previously had a contract with a software to help us with our ticketing system. And rather than renewing that software, they use the software and they would also help us answer calls, because what we found is that even though we had the software, departments were issuing tickets for assistance and they were not getting the assistance they needed. So in this regard, there would be that assistance. And also, while we are in the position that we're in with regard to our current director, we need that assistance in the site.
And the 14,935 per month, that is basically, is that more than what we were paying, or?
Oh, yes. Yeah. What we were paying is reflective of a 25-year-old system, technology. And so, like I said, we're definitely upgrading our system, and again, we contacted Microsoft directly so that we could make sure to make appropriate cost comparisons. Any further discussion? With no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the vote. To add item 6 to, call the roll.
Councilmember Copeland. Councilmember Brown. Councilmember Lockett. Councilmember Frazier. Councilmember Brunson. Councilmember Denton. Councilmember Fayetteville.
Next, we have a resolution authorizing the Training Department to destroy outdated and unneeded records. I move that we add this item to the agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that agenda item number 7 be added to the agenda. Any discussion? With no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember James. Councilmember Copeland. Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier.
Aye.
Councilmember Brunson. Councilmember Denton. Councilmember Fayetteville.
Motion passes.
All right. Next, we have a resolution amending the 2026 municipal budget to reallocate funds within the cemetery department. I move that we add this item to the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that agenda item number 8 be added to the agenda. Any discussion? With no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Councilmember Luckett.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier. Councilmember Brunson. Councilmember Denton. Councilmember Fails.
Yes, 7-1. Okay, motion passes.
The last one we have is a resolution adopting a new design for the seal of the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I move that we add this item to the agenda.
It's been moved and seconded that item number 9 be added to the agenda. Any discussion? With no discussion,
Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Lockett.
I know we all had a great presentation, but I really don't feel comfortable passing these changes in the form of a resolution. I would much rather they be passed in the form of an ordinance, but if I can't get that, at least we can delay it one meeting and maybe let the public see what we all see.
Councilmember, I made this presentation through the small contract for services, and I believe that you indicated that you would go with the consensus. And the timeline is such that I would respectfully ask that you do so, just because I did do my homework and we have put it in the form of a resolution, because that's basically all we needed to do. There was no existing ordinance. And as you know, if this had already been established as an ordinance, then we would need to put it in the form of an ordinance. It's a resolution accordingly, and I guess I would just draw your attention to the fact that this is being given a year, and I think I mentioned this during the presentation. This is being given a year to put in place. So as far as retiring the current logo and seal, you know, it takes time, and I don't think that I heard you say that you want to present it to the public, just like any contract or, RFP or anything that we create internally in the executive level. We do that work, we do the due diligence, we take the time. We've been working on this for probably about a year now. And there was a process in place, and so this is it. It's not like we're asking, it's a contest and we're asking people to send in, their vote. We went through the process with professionals, and they did the design, and we're paying for the design. So I just don't know that taking more time would do anything other than take more time and disallow us from moving forward. And I was excited when you said, even though you are a little uncomfortable with change, that you would go with the consensus. And if the consensus is to move forward, I would ask you to adhere to what you said.
Well, I'm not changing that, madam. Only thing I'm saying is that we, as a council, the seal and all this belongs to the people of Pine Bluff. And what I'm saying is, we can choose to do it by resolution and read it 3 times, or we can choose to do it by ordinance and read it 3 times. The ordinance, the process of doing legislation whereby we read it 3 times gives the public a chance to understand what we do. And what I'm saying is, if you take it a year, come on and talk about 1 month. And I still don't have any misgivings about the design, but I just still believe that if we're gonna change everything that represents the city as a symbol.
It's not everything.
Well, I'm just saying the seal and the logo pretty much is what we use to represent the city.
I mean, let me remind you though, there's not much change to the seal, and if you'll also recall during the presentation, part of the timeline was the intent to actually lay this out and present it to the public. So if you already know that the consensus is to do this, and, you know, and that we will present it to the public, I'm just asking you to allow me to do that.
Well, no, I'm not saying that you're not to do that. Now, I'm just saying.
I'm saying according to the
what I'm
timeline
saying
we've
is-
laid out, because that's part of the work that we have asked the design group to do to help us in the presentation. So there is a timeline. And so not doing this throws a monkey wrench in that.
Come on.
Yes, yes.
I'm going with this moving forward tonight. You did, just speaking personally, you did contact me for presentations with other council members. It was a very thorough presentation. I think the fact that, like you're saying, it will be a 12-month process, I think it would be kind of a good middle ground if we do pass this tonight. We can roll it out to the public. If by some small chance there is a huge outrage over the logo, I doubt there will be. We can always, come back to the drawing board and, tweak things. Companies do it all the time. But I think just to get the ball rolling, it does make sense just to go ahead and, pass it tonight. Yeah.
Councilmember Frazier.
And I was just gonna say, if memory serves me correctly, when we do an ordinance, that's to change laws, something that's permanent, in nature. And so since this is just us, creating a new seal, it will be okay to do it as a resolution. And we can still, people are gonna see it once it's rolled out, but I don't see why we would need it, ordinance versus a resolution.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And the other thing I'll point out too, the only reason that this was not a part of the packet, and had it been a part of the packet, we wouldn't even be looking at this to add to the agenda, is just out of respect to make the presentation first. And if you'll recall, we would have had to have had this in the packet and to be placed in the agenda by noon on Wednesday. The scheduled date for the presentations that were made was on Thursday. And so we knew that we could put it on the agenda later if it was something that was acceptable by the council and where there was a consensus. And, we had quite a consensus, even to the point where the lone person who had any reservation at all said that you would go through, go along with the consensus. And I just would ask for you to consider allowing us to move forward with the timeline and the process, with the promise that the people will receive presentation, and that we are doing our due diligence to make sure that that this project is fruitful and done in the right way.
And I just want to add.
Councilmember Frazier.
Yes. In all honesty and transparency, when we were asked about the presentation in regards to this logo and stuff, I was apprehensive about it at first because we just finished doing the logo not too long ago, so I was a little apprehensive about it. But when I got into the meeting and I saw the actual logo and I saw the work that was put into it, and I saw it on different things as far as letterhead and logos for paraphernalia, as far as shirts or anything like that, or on the vehicles of the cars. It really is a great logo. And I'm just being transparent. I went into it not really sure, but when I came out of the meeting, I was very sure that I liked the logo. So I just wanted to make that.
Thank you. Councilmember Lockett. Oh, but you were in the middle of taking the vote, so you're still a no. To put it on the agenda.
We have a little.
Oh, just discussion. Okay. Councilmember Mays. And I know there's like a whole presentation to explain all this, and remember we talked about it, and you would get that since you could participate on those. But Arkansas will be prominently featured for sure. Well, any further discussion? No further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mays,
Just add to the
Councilmember Holcomb, Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett,
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier, Councilmember Brunson, Councilmember Denton, Councilmember Fagan.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next, Councilmember Frazier, will you please deliver your report on economic and community development?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The Economic and Community Development has not met since the last city council meeting. We will meet on March 19, 2026 at 11:30 a.m. in the Economic and Community Development Office and via Zoom. 11:30 a.m. on 19. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Denton, will you please deliver your report on public health and welfare?
Madam Mayor, today I attended the transit celebration held at the Donald Ross Center. And what they did was, they highlighted, public transportation heroes for the dedication service and helping residents, travel safe to work, school, and other things. And the program also provided information about current transit services and future, efforts to improve transportation access for the community. Overall, the event was very informative. And the reason why we met like this is because it seemed like everybody had other stuff on their agenda, so we did communicate with phone and email. Also, from the Jefferson County Health Unit, they have had 2 people to retire, and that has left them with 2 key leadership positions, and during the transition, Kimberly Hickenbottom and Sandra Harmon have stepped up to ensure that the operations continue to run smoothly, and they are working closely with the city to receive the monthly allotment to make sure that bills are paid and keep services on. And also, the regional director, Kim Hickenbottom, said that both of the positions will be refilled in the future, but in the meantime, Tammy Cook has been appointed to cover those positions right now to keep the staff needs going. And also I spoke with at the Times executive director of area agency, and she said that they did receive the 5311 grant from the Arkansas Department of Transportation, and that is to provide public transportation services. And they also have a contract with the state of Arkansas to provide non-emergency medical transportation to Arkansas Medicaid. And the department currently has about 150 employees. And from July 2025 to January 2026, SEAT has transported about 19,000 trips each month. And out of those trips, 13,000 funded by Medicaid and 6,000 paid for the client for the facility. And that is my report.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Lockett, will you please deliver your report on public works?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Public Works has not met since our last meeting. Our next meeting will be on our normal day, which is the last Tuesday of the month, which is going to be 31st of March at 1 o'clock in the old City Council chambers in via Zoom. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilmember Fells, will you please deliver your report on development? Councilmember Fells can deliver his report next meeting. So Councilmember Brunson, will you please deliver your report on traffic and aviation?
Yes, Mayor, traffic and aviation, we actually met today in regards to a couple of issues that have came before the committee. One was the restriping and adding some parking lots to POPs, new location downtown, and I've been working with Director Dockett on a solution for that, and we do have a solution that we did agree upon that what I do know is in order for the city to do it, I know the owner wants it done before a certain date, and I don't think from our timetable and timeline that it can be done for the city by that date. Now, we can do it, but it might not be for the date that he's requesting. If he's wanting to do it on his own, that is also an option as well. But those are just some things that we did bring before the committee today. We also talked about a couple of speed bumps, and we did change that ordinance in regards to what is needed, but it's still somewhat challenging for residents to get a certain amount of signatures if they want a speed hump in the area. So an alternative that we have came up with for one that has a resident that has requested a speed hump is the police has those. I don't know exactly what they're calling the speed monitors that the mobile traffic monitors that we're going to actually put in that location to kind of monitor what their traffic speed is in that location, and then we'll kind of go from there. So those were the main things. And we had also had another meeting. We talked with the airport, and they did get the runway completed at the airport, and it'll be good and ready for the Black Pilots event that's coming up in May. So I'll have more information about that, but that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Holcomb, will you please deliver your report on administration?
Thank you, Mayor. Administration committee, now this is as council meeting. Scheduled meetings every second Tuesday of the month. City clerk's office.
Councilmember Brown, will you please deliver your report on public safety?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Public safety met on the 4th of this month. We heard from Mr. Gray with Animal Control. He reported that he had 110 dogs that were brought in. We had 22 adopted animals out of the animal shelter. He also reported that the dogs that were involved in the mauling incident on Oak Street, those have been captured, and they're being held at the facility until further direction from the judge. He reported that on May 16th, Last Hope Rescue will be here in Pine Bluff. Last Hope Rescue actually helps with equipment for the animals. They help spay and neuter, and they also come out and walk the dogs, and just do general help around the animal shelter. So that'll be on May 16th, and they usually come in about once a year. From the fire department, Chief Compton reported we had 12 structure fires, 3 vehicle fires during the month of February. We had 497 total calls during that month. And on March the 3rd, he reported that we signed an infrastructure contract with Cato Asphalt Construction for the foundation for our training facility that's going to be, the building itself should be here somewhere around May 18th. And so we signed that contract so we can get that infrastructure in place. On March 6th, we had two individuals, two firefighters graduating from the academy. And right now we have 5 new hires that are, at that time, we're in the 3rd week of training, and that's EMT training, and we do that in-house. We had 3 that were in what they call rookie school, which is basically in Camden at the time, and they have an April 24th graduation date. And we just kind of talked about some of the training that the drivers, the firefighters have to go through. They do about 5 weeks here, EMT training, about 8 weeks in Camden, and then another 2 weeks in Camden. So that pretty extensive training to get those firefighters ready to be able to serve and hit the streets. We have a ladder truck currently in Texas. It's about 180 days for those repairs, and also looking at doing some refurb work. I don't know, I haven't spoken with the chief in the last couple of days about it, but I'll get back with him as far as that goes. Chief Davis of the police department, we had actually Talisha Brown give crime stats. Reported crimes down 14.47%. Total calls for service in February was 2,106 calls, and year to date it was 5,251 calls for service. Let's see. We also heard from Mr. Brown, who's our accreditation manager. He's right now working on a national accreditation. Right now I think we've already at tier 1 and tier 2, so we're working on that national accreditation. There is a cost involved with that. We talked about that a little bit in committee. $11,450 for that initial cost, and then they do an assessment, and then we actually have to send officers off for training. At the time, they were going to send 1. I said, we probably need to send 2 because we have 2 individuals to deal with it. So we're going to send those 2 off to training for the accreditation. And we were supposed to get a budget adjustment from the police concerning a vehicle, some computer equipment for the substations that we have, and there was a drone that needed to be repaired. So there should be a budget adjustment coming probably at the next meeting concerning those requests. I know that Councilmember Bronson and I visited with, we actually went to see at Jefferson Square. There's a substation we're going to put out there, and so we actually toured the area that we were considering for a substation, and so that the owner is willing to give us that space for free of charge, and we're just going to pay utilities there. So we had a chance to go and tour that facility, and so we just have to do a little bit of painting and some decorating there. Other than that, we also got a report on our cameras. We're about 60 to 90 days from getting our cameras. We're switching over to Motorola from Flock. And so between 60 and 90 days, we should start getting those cameras put up around the city. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. And we will begin the proposed ordinances and resolutions. Councilman Wilson.
Yes, ma'am. Agenda item number 1, ordinance amending chapter 19, article 5, section 19-144. Code of Ordinance of the City of Conway, Arkansas, regarding recruitment, bonuses for public safety officers and for other purposes, and declaring an emergency up for the first reading.
Whereas pursuant to resolution number 4639, a resolution creating a program to retain public safety officers through payment of bonuses, the City of Pine Bluff implemented a program to pay bonuses to newly recruited public safety officers. And whereas the City of Pine Bluff currently provides a sign-on bonus of $10,000 for certified officers payable in 4 installments over 3 years, and $5,000 for non-certified recruits payable upon hire, academy completion, and annual service milestones. And whereas the City Council finds that establishing a minimum period of service commitment and proportionate repayment obligation for early voluntary separation is necessary to safeguard the city's investment and promote staffing stability within the police and fire departments. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Mount Bluff, Arkansas, that Section 1, Chapter 19, Article 5, Section 19-134B, recruitment, examination, and certification of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Mount Bluff, Arkansas is amended to add the following subparagraphs. A, recruitment bonuses. A, certified officer bonus terms. A certified officer sign-on bonus of $10,000 shall be payable only pursuant to continuous service with the Commonwealth Police Department as follows. I, $2,500 on the first paycheck following hire. 2I, $2,500 upon completion of 12 months of continuous service. 3I, $2,500 upon completion of 24 months of continuous service. And 4, $2,500 upon completion of 36 months of continuous service. B, non-certified recruit bonus terms. The non-certified recruit sign-on bonus of $5,000 shall be payable only pursuant to higher certification and continuous service as follows. 1, $1,000 upon hire. 2, $750 after successful completion of the police training academy recognized by Arkansas CLEST. 3, $750 upon completion of 12 months of continuous service. 4, $1,250 upon completion of 24 months of continuous service. And 5, $1,250 upon completion of 36 months of continuous service. C, repayment of bonuses. Any employee subject to this ordinance who voluntarily resigns or whose employment is terminated for cause prior to completing 36 months of continuous service shall repay to the city a portion of all bonus amounts previously paid according to the following graduated scale. 1, less than 6 months from hire, repay 100%. 2, 6 months to less than 12 months, repay 80%. 3, 12 months to less than 24 months, repay 50%. 4, 24 months to less than 36 months, repay 25%. And 5, 36 months or more, no repayment. D, exceptions and waiver authority. Repayment may be waived or modified only upon approval of the chiefs of police or fire departments in the following circumstances. 1, line of duty disability. 2, death of the employee. Or 3, involuntary reduction in force not based on misconduct. Section 2. All ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith or repealed to the extent of the conflict. Section 3. Any provision or application of this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction. Such invalidity shall not affect other provisions that can be given effect without the invalid provision. And to this end, the provisions are declared severable. Section 4. This ordinance being of a general and permanent nature, the clerk will ensure that its purpose consistent with Arkansas law. Section 5, emergency clause. This ordinance being necessary for the proper preservation of public peace, safety, and city resources, an emergency is declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage.
Move we suspend the rules and place the ordinance on the second reading.
Second.
So moved and seconded, this ordinance being placed on the second reading. Any discussion? If no discussion, vote please call the roll.
Councilmember Davis? Councilmember Holcomb?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown? Councilmember Lockett? Councilmember Frazier? Councilmember Blunt? Councilmember Denton? Councilmember Bailey?
An ordinance amending Chapter 19, Article 5 of Section 19-134 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Mount Bluff, Arkansas regarding recruitment bonuses for public safety officers and for related purposes and declaring an emergency.
Move we suspend the rules and place the ordinance on the third and final reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the rules be suspended and place this item on the agenda for its third and final reading. Any discussion? Councilmember Frazier?
I have is this going to be within their budget, or where is the bonuses going to be paid out?
So, Councilmembers, right now, we currently have a bonus system in place for new recruitment. What this does is puts a set of rules in place so if someone receives that money, that bonus, and then leaves the department within a certain time frame, then they're responsible for paying it back. And so that's the basis for this. It's not necessarily adding a bonus, it's just putting rules in place that if someone gets hired, gets the bonus, and leaves in 2 months, they have to repay it. Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion? With no further discussion, all of those, Madam Clerk, please call.
Councilmember May.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier.
Aye.
Councilmember Brunson. Councilmember Denton. Councilmember Bailey.
An ordinance amending Chapter 19, Article 5, Section 19-134 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas regarding recruitment bonuses for public safety officers and for related purposes and declaring an emergency.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that ordinance, item number 1, be adopted. Any discussion? No further discussion. All of those who wish to vote for the adoption of agenda item number 1 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Move to accept the emergency clause.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the emergency clause be accepted. Any discussion? No further discussion. All those who wish to vote for the acceptance of the emergency clause indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mayor, you need a roll call for the emergency clause.
Oh, thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember May. Councilmember Holcomb.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham. Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier. Councilmember Brunson. Councilmember Denton. Councilmember Bailey.
Motion passes.
Agenda item number 2, an ordinance amending policy number 1204 of the policy and procedure manual for the Pine Bluff Police Department and declaring an emergency. Up for the first reading.
Whereas there is need to adopt revised and updated policies to the policies and procedures governing the day-to-day operations of the Pine Bluff Police Department, and whereas pursuant to resolution number 4639, a resolution creating a program to retain public safety officers through payment of bonuses, the City of Pine Bluff implemented a program to pay bonuses to newly recruited public safety officers. And whereas the hiring practices policy number 1204 should be updated with the guidelines that should be followed for the Police Department regarding recruitment bonuses. Now therefore be ordained by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, that the hiring practices policy number 1204 should be amended to add the attached new subsection 4, recruitment and retention bonuses, attached and incorporated by reference is hereby approved and adopted into the policy and procedures manual for uniformed personnel of the Pine Bluff Police Department. Section 2, a copy of the revised material shall be distributed to all police department personnel and filed with the city clerk's office and available for public inspection. Section 3, this ordinance being of a general or permanent nature, the clerk shall cause it to be published in accordance with Arkansas law. Section 4, emergency clause, this ordinance being necessary for the proper preservation of public peace, safety, and city resources, and an emergency is declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage.
Move to suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its second reading.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the rules be suspended to place this item on the agenda.
More information there. Second.
For a second reading, sorry. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Holcomb.
Aye.
Councilmember May. Councilmember Holcomb. Councilmember Graham. Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier. Councilmember Brunson. Councilmember Denton. Councilmember Bailey.
In order to amend policy number 1204 of the policies and procedures manual for the Pine Bluff Police Department and declaring an emergency.
Move to suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its third and final reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that this item be placed on the agenda for its third and final reading and that the rules be suspended. Kenny, I'm sorry, any discussion? No further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mays. Councilmember Holcomb.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham. Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier. Councilmember Brunson. Councilmember Denton. and Councilmember Taylor.
An ordinance amending policy number 1204 of the Policies and Procedures Manual for the Pine Bluff Police Department and declaring an emergency.
Move for adoption.
It's been moved and seconded that agenda item number 2 be adopted. Any discussion? No discussion. All of those who wish to vote for the adoption of agenda item number 2 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Move we accept the emergency clause.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the emergency clause be accepted. Any discussion? With no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier.
Aye.
Councilmember Brunson. Councilmember Denton. And Councilmember Bailey.
Motion passes.
Agenda item number 3 is resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to take steps to verify and confirm the city boundaries of the city of Pine Bluff and mark said boundaries by appropriate signage in regular intervals.
Whereas it assists businesses as well as current and potential residents of the city to have a firm grasp of the boundaries of the municipality for planning and other purposes, and therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that the mayor is authorized and directed to act expeditiously and take the necessary steps to verify and confirm the current boundaries of the City of Pine Bluff and cause said boundaries to be marked at regular intervals by appropriate signage.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that item number 3 be adopted. Any discussion? Councilmember Mays.
Was confused at one time. This will give you the back and forth. We move forward with it. And y'all see the back and forth.
Any further discussion? Councilmember Brown?
So I guess, who would be responsible for doing this? So are we, I guess I'm just trying to figure out exactly, are we establishing, I mean, I think our boundaries are already established. Yeah, yes, so are there any places where the, I guess the city shifts to another area that is not marked? Right. But do we have some?
Well, it's not clear.
On 365. But on 270, there may be a smaller sign, but there's still a mark.
It's not being all clear. If it moves, in our favor, it's going to be interruption without boundary.
Councilmember, who would I verify and confirm with? Yes, sir. I mean, I kind of had an idea of how I'll try to approach it, since it's discussion. Who would I verify and confirm the current boundaries of the city of Pine Bluff? Okay.
Is this all triggering in the board?
Guess you can check it in, see if we don't have to have any over this.
What's the resolution?
Please, something in order to keep the student out. In place of one time, that's not good.
I don't mind making any phone calls and checking accordingly. Yes, sir. Any further discussion? With no further discussion, all those who wish to vote for agenda item number 3 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Agenda item number 4, a resolution authorizing the animal control department to destroy outdated records.
Whereas ACA Section 14-59-114 permits a municipality to destroy certain county and other records which are at least 4 years old and have been subject to audit, and whereas the Animal Control Department has identified many records maintained in its office which meet the criteria for destruction and desires to dispose of the documents, and whereas no good reason exists to continue to maintain these records, the Animal Control Department should be authorized to destroy them. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pound Bluff, Arkansas, the Animal Control Department is authorized to destroy the records itemized in the attached list for the period up to and including December 31st, 2020, which are more than 4 years old and have been subject to audit review, which have been maintained by the department. No record which is required to be maintained by the state of Arkansas for a longer period should be destroyed. The destruction of these documents shall be witnessed by a representative of the mayor's office, the animal control director, and a member of the council's public safety committee, who shall each sign a sworn declaration as witness of the destruction.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that agenda item number 4 be adopted. Any discussion? With no discussion, all of those who wish to vote for agenda item number 4 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Agenda item number 5, a resolution authorizing extension of an agreement with V. Wright and Associates to provide project management services for the city of Pine Bluff.
Whereas resolution number 4868 passed March 3rd, 2025, the City Council approved an agreement between the city and V. Wright and Associates to provide project management services for the city, facilitate the transition from the New World software system to Tyler Technologies, and whereas the original contract will expire after March 17, 2026, the project management services are still needed to complete the transition, and V. Wright and Associates is willing to extend the contract for an additional 1-year period on the same terms and conditions as the original, and whereas Arkansas law and city procurement rules permit the renewal of an existing contract without competitive bidding or selection, so long as the agreement to extend is made prior to the expiration of the existing contract, and whereas extending this agreement is in the best interest of the city. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that the extension of the existing contract for project management services between the city and V. Wright and Associates concerning the transition from New World to Tyler Technologies is approved, effective on passage of this resolution. The mayor is authorized to execute the necessary documents to memorialize the extension on the same terms and conditions as the existing agreement and for a term not exceeding 1 year from date.
Move for adoption.
It's been moved and seconded that item number 5 be adopted. Any discussion? Councilmember Locke.
How long is it gonna take to do this?
So actually, I do want to entertain any questions, but I was going to ask Mrs. Wright to come before us to share the information that she has. Can you look at the mic real quick?
Okay, because that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I have a sheet that you all should have that look like this. And Michael really is going to put it up there for you. There are 4 main topics on here that you see that have a square bullet point. The first one is
It's coming.
the first one is the newest deployment phase. I won't spend a lot of time on a lot of the other ones, but I want to mention that go live is the first week in June. And then there's post go live stabilization. We have some dates. and then you have success matrix, which is your key performance indicator. But I want to call your attention to municipal deployment phases. And no, that's a good question. There are 4 phases. So in June, when we have the first go live, that one is only, we have 25% of the work done. There are 4 phases that Mayor Washington paid for. What are these phases? They're financials, human resource management, enterprise asset management, and enterprise permitting and licensing. Each phase is approximately a year. So the last phase ends February 2029. So in my mind, the next question is, why does it take so long? Why does it take so long to do this? In order to understand why it takes so long, you really got to understand what it is that I do, we have to provide, and what it is Tyler Technology does. The first thing, I came on in mid-March 2025, so we're in 2026 now. I have some responsibilities in many of the components, but there are 2 main components that take a lot of time. And we separate what I do from what the project manager of Tyler Technology does. The 2 main things that I do, one is I am responsible for designing the system. That's one. Number 2, the second one is adoption. So what do I mean by designing the system? In order to design the system, I meet with subject matter experts in the city, and we design the system. We work together. Many of these times we take 4-hour, 8-hour sessions designing the system. I create flow charts. We answer questions in spreadsheets. And basically what we're doing is looking at what we're doing now and what we want to do in the future. Once we get all of the flow charts, the spreadsheets, and the Word documents together, I put all of that together and I hand it over to Tyler Technology. They, in turn, configure the system. So you might say, well, what does that mean? Once I give them all of that information, they take that information and they configure it. And I want you to think about configuration this way. We all get cell phones every 4 or 5 years. It's a cell phone. And so then you want to ask yourself, you configure your cell phone like we are configuring this system. But your cell phones, you do things like you have to change, and look at it this way. You get your new phone and you say, man, now I'm going to write down all the things that I want this cell phone to be configured. I want to I want to change the ringtone. I want to change the display. I want to decide, I want to say it again.
Put all your contacts in.
You want to put all your stuff in, your contacts in. You also want to make sure that you turn your don't disturb sign on. So you hand that piece of paper, so you have to figure, you have decided what you want that to be. Then you hand it over to your children, your grandchild, your nephew, your niece, and you say, based on this, configure my cell phone. That's what we're doing. I take all that information, we create flow charts, we look at the spreadsheets and the Word documents, lots and lots of discussion, and we have to do that for every single one of the modules that you see that are under the Go Live. So let's take, for example, requisitions. With requisitions, I meet with a team of subject matter experts, and we look at how we're doing it now and how we want to do it next. How we want to do it in the future. We are designing the system. That takes a lot of time, and we do it for each single one of those little programs. Those are programs. Then the next step is that what I have to do is refine this configuration. So I personally meet with them. And when I meet with Tyler Tech, I am looking at the configuration based on the design that I have given the team. Once we look at it, then I have to think in terms of, one, what our design is, and two, that I am staying within and meeting the rules of the Arkansas legislative audit, the city ordinances, and all of those things that we have to look at to make sure that we are in agreement with all of the rules and regulations that we have to abide by. After we do that, each one of those, then I go to the power users. And the power users take the time and they vet the system and the material. That means that basically they're looking at the configuration that they have, that our functional team, our subject matter experts have helped us design. And then the power users, and it's been configured, and the power users, then they work on the system, and they play with the system to make sure it's doing exactly what we configured it, or we had it configured to be. Those things take a lot of time. Then we also are training our power users and our leaders to be our first line support. Now, Mayor, I know you told me that I can have 10 minutes. Am I going over 10 minutes? You don't know. Okay. But Councilmember Lockett, I would like to ask you, did I answer your question? How long is this? One, we are going to be deploying this for another 3 years. The last go live is in 2029. And Mayor Washington purchased this, and it was a good idea. It's a good system, but we have 4 phases, and each phase takes approximately a year.
So this is what I wanted to say, and I would really like to open it up for questions because they have this, and I think you've done a good job of giving the nuts and bolts of this. I want to point out that this is a huge and heavy investment, and it was one that was made before I came, but it was made, and it was made. Also, with what was relayed to me during transition is that Tyler Technologies acquired New World. Tyler Technologies is the foremost, I would say, based on what I have learned from Vivian Wright, is Tyler Technology is the foremost, I would say, I don't want to say expert, but
they're a leader.
The leading software company for municipalities. And this is a big cost to us. It's an upgrade, and as she just explained, we're in the phase right now, and all of these 4 phases, we have to configure the system to meet our needs, is the bottom line. If we do not do that and do it effectively, there's no way that we can come back and make changes once we go live. So that's something that when we first entered into this, I just did not understand. The bottom line is, if we are not careful and comprehensive in how we make sure that this very sophisticated, very expensive system works for us on this end of the equation. Once we go live, there is no changing it to go back and make the changes. So that's why it's really important that we have the expertise of a project manager to help us on our end, so we don't end up later having a system that we are paying for that people don't know how to use and that doesn't optimally work for us.
I guess I've got a question to ask you with that. So what if there is something that comes out, or maybe it's something you left out, you didn't put into the system while we're doing this, so we wouldn't be able to go in and say, hey, we need to add this particular.
Let me answer that. There are things that we are going through, that we are figuring out we need some more. So Tower Technology is an ERP system that has so many more modules that they have. We didn't buy them all. We can't afford to buy them all. But as we are going through and we're looking at this, we say, well, but can the system do this? And I said, well, let me look and see. Yes, it can, but we didn't buy it. Those type of things will have to go back as we move forward, and we have to come to you all again and say, okay, the system is not doing this thing, it has the capability of doing this thing, but it costs this much money. And then we have to have a discussion about that. To add on to that, Councilman Brown, we go live in June. There's something called a stabilization period. The stabilization period is usually 3 to 6 months. We don't have time to do that. So I'm going to take a stabilization period for 1 month. And what that is that we run that system. Tower Technology will be on site for the first week of go live. I will be here, we'll be running around all over the city, and we will be stressing the heck out of that system so that we can find anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And we will fix those things. Part of my job is to make sure that all the data is over there. We have to take data from New World, and we have to import it, or what they call migrate it, into Munich. Well, right now, we're going through that process. We send our database over there, they look at it, and they run it through a conversion, and they find that one, Munic's format is a little different from ours. Some of the things we got in there, Munis doesn't have. Then we have to go back to them and say, well, listen here, we want you to change your format here. In addition, we want to be able to say, we have vendors in there, or suppliers, that have been there for 20 years. Some of them folks ain't even doing business with this anymore. We should cleanse those people. We still have the archive in New World. So New World will still exist. We own that. But when we go live with the financial part, we have a stabilization period. We have to make sure that, one, we didn't leave any of those tables out. It's a possibility that we missed them. For whatever reason, during go live, we're going to try every single thing that system has said that we can do, and we're going to do it. And then we're going to go back to the table and say, okay, let's fix this. Because during that period, we're supposed to start the next one, which is HR. That's payroll, all of those things. That doesn't go live with financial. It goes live the next phase, next year of this. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other questions? I love questions, yes. Go live, yes. No, we go live in 10 weeks with the first, with financials there at the top. 10 weeks, the first week of June. We go live with that. What sort of things will you see? The go live may not mean much to you. It means that we switch over to Munich doing these particular programs. One, we will no longer create purchase orders. We'll be creating requisitions which will be converted into purchase orders. And then we'll have an invoicing system. And that invoicing system, and then we have, which makes this very powerful, is approvals. So we're going to have training, and it's role-based. Everybody's not going to have permission to do everything. So we're going to have an end user over there who only receives. So all his only engagement with the system is to receive. He will be trained to do just that. Others will be trained to enter requisitions. And then others will be trained to enter invoices. So when I say go live, we will no longer purchase using New World, we will purchase using Munis.
You're basically launching a new system for that phase.
That part of the system.
That phase.
That phase, what they call financials. And all you see those that are listed there, those are the ones that we'll be going live with. Those are individual programs
That we purchased.
that we purchase. That's right, Madam Mayor.
Any further discussion? Councilmember Frazier?
Sure.
My question, not necessarily to you.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay. Okay.
I just wanted to know, so we're gonna do it for 1 year for the 98,500, where's those funds, was that fund, were those funds already thought of for the 2025 year? If not, where is it?
I believe it was. I just want to get confirmation from, yes.
Where, which?
NIT, that was part of the budget, yes. Any further discussion? Councilmember Lockett.
So we gonna do this again in 27, 28,
You've already paid for it.
We, yes. I hope it, and I hope it's Vivian, right, but no matter who it is, we have to have management, project management expertise for the reasons that were just described. We have this system we already purchased. We don't have someone to help us configure this system, because it's not just loading it up, on our hardware. It is basically what I call customizing, but that was the wrong word. But that's the best way I can kind of say to a layperson, you are configuring the system to meet your needs based on your data, your processes, your staff. And all that is done on the front end. Then you also have to get assistance with the training and really working with Munis, Tyler Technology, on their end. We have to have someone who is representing us and our interests to make sure that when there's something that needs to be tweaked on their end, in the conversion process or all of these processes, that they are doing it according to what's best for us, according to our contract, according to the law. And if we don't have someone, then we're just sort of sitting there trusting them to say, here it is, this meets your needs, and we're ready to go live next week. And I can just tell you, based on conversations with folks from other cities, and I didn't have them, but what was reported back to me, and even based on how, based on our current system, if we don't configure it right, if we don't utilize power users within every department, and familiarize our leadership throughout the city in every department, we're setting our personnel up to fail and our city up to fail to not be able to optimally use the system that we are paying money to use. So the answer is yes. It may not be this vendor, hopefully it will be, but somebody's gonna need to do it because none of us can do it. Nobody else in the city can do it. So, any further discussion? Councilmember Frazier.
But my confusion, I guess, was originally why Tyler Technology was not doing what she's doing if we're paying them for the system. Because I know when we transferred over to New World, they came on site and helped us to configure all that stuff. So I'm trying
That's a great question. So think about it this way. When they came on site for New World,
we were paying, that was a part of their contract, and we were paying them to come on site to help us implement their product. What we are doing instead with those same dollars, we're not paying for them to come back and forth to tell us that what they got or what they've already sold us is already working for us. What we're doing is getting someone who is expert in this in terms of ERP systems to make sure that the system is properly configured before they ever come over here. And then making sure that we get the proper training, making sure that when the system is transitioning the data, that if there's a glitch, they don't say, well, it's your fault, it's your network, it's your Wi-Fi. If it is, we know that we have an expert to tell us it is our stuff, and I'm working with IT to get it fixed so that they can finish transitioning the data. But if it's them, we have someone who knows, who's able to say, no, it's y'all, and this is how we're going to do this. So it's kind of putting somebody in our camp to help us with this transition and paying our person versus paying their person. And the best analogy I can give you is if you are, paying. Okay, there you go. Now, I want to add to that. I don't know. Do you remember what year you were around when they did your work?
Yes, but Lord Jesus, I've been through 3 administrations, so forgive me, I don't remember.
Okay. Because I was told it was under Mayor Reeves at the time. So that was.
It was a long time.
15, 20 years ago. I've been doing this since
2011.
2011. I've been doing this since 1995. And there are always 2 project managers. One that handles all the technical stuff, the configuration stuff. That's what they do. And then I can't imagine that there was someone doing the design for you all. I don't know who was doing the design. If I were here, the way they were doing it, I would guess. And then they would come and say, this is what we think that we see you have worked with other folks, and then do it that way. I have never, like I said, now most of my customers that I work with are private sector. But there were still always 2, so that the technical side or the configuration side got done. And it's also evolved. At one time, it wasn't just they were configuring and customizing. Nowadays, it's basically configuration because it has evolved to this point where you can have just configuration and not customization. But the bottom line is you will always have someone on your side that works directly with your folks to design a system that meets the needs of the city of Powell.
Thank you.
So while the mayor has talked about change management and adoption is the training and the alignment and that stuff. But the biggest part that takes a lot of my time is the actual design.
Any further discussion? Thank you very much, Mr. Ray. Any further discussion? With no further discussion, all of those who wish to vote for the adoption of item number 5 indicate by saying yes. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Agenda item number 6, a resolution approving an agreement with One-Stop Technical Resource Services for professional services regarding technology assistance.
Whereas after review of proposals to provide professional technology services, the firm of One-Stop Technical Resource Services submit the proposal most responsive to the city's needs. And whereas an agreement has been negotiated with One-Stop for its professional services, setting forth the terms of the services and consideration to be paid One-Stop. And whereas the agreement has been reviewed by the council and should be adopted as in the best interest of the city, and therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that the mayor is authorized to execute the attached managed services and licensing agreement with One Stop for the duration on the terms and for the consideration therein set forth. The agreement, consisting of 7 pages, is incorporated herein as if fully set forth. The consideration for the agreement shall be paid from the line item for consulting services in the budget for the Information and Technology Department.
Move for adoption.
It's been moved and seconded that agenda item number 6 be adopted. Any discussion? With no discussion, all of those who wish to vote for the adoption of item number 6 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Agenda item number 7, a resolution authorizing the transit department to destroy outdated and unneeded records.
Whereas Arkansas law permits a municipality to destroy outdated and unneeded records more than 4 years old, and whereas the transit department has identified many records maintained in its office which meet the criteria for destruction and desires to dispose of the documents, and whereas no good reason exists to continue to maintain these records and the transit department should be authorized to destroy them, now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. The transit department is authorized to destroy the records itemized in the attached list for the time period between January 1, 1979 to December 31st, 2018, which are more than 4 years old. The records have been maintained by the department but are outdated and unneeded. No record required to be maintained for a longer period by other provision of law shall be destroyed. The destruction of these documents shall be witnessed by a representative of the mayor's office, the transit director, and a member of the council's public health and welfare committee, who shall each sign a sworn declaration as witnesses of the destruction.
Move for adoption.
It's been moved and seconded that agenda item number 7 be adopted. Any discussion? Councilman Bluff?
I know it's going to be destroying
It's shredded.
I know that. I'm just saying, like, before that.
Not at this time. There is no policy that mandates that, and we don't have systems in place. I do hope that in the process of transitioning our software system, and Madam Clerk and I have talked about digital record keeping. So that's something that I think we can look to in the future, but in terms of the law and how many years we are required to keep records, this is just the city departments adhering to the existing law and getting rid of boxes and boxes and boxes of paper that is like taking up space in rooms that we're not using but we're paying for. All right. Any further, Councilmember Mays?
We're going to destroy all this paper without having a resident. It's not what we're going to do on
Correct. Any further discussion? With no further discussion, all those who wish to vote for item number 7, the adoption, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Agenda item number 8, a resolution amending the 2026 municipal budget to reallocate funds within the cemetery department.
Whereas consistent with ordinance number 6849, when the municipal budget is adopted by resolution, the budget adjustment must also be approved by resolution. And whereas the 2026 municipal budget was adopted by resolution number 4983 on December 22nd, 2025. And whereas an adjustment and change to the budget is needed for the reasons described and detailed in the attached budget adjustment request, and the funds for said purposes should be reallocated funds within the budget for the cemetery department as explained in the request. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, the adjustment to the 2026 municipal budget as requested and explained in the attached budget adjustment having been examined is approved. Particulars thereof as entailed in the attachment are incorporated herein as fully set forth, word for word, member for member. Section 2, that the 2026 municipal budget adopted by resolution number 4983 is amended to incorporate the adjustments and changes set out in the attachment. Section 3, the Finance Department will ensure that the budget is implemented as amended.
Move for adoption.
It's been moved and seconded that item number 8 be adopted. Any discussion? With no discussion, all those who wish to vote for the adoption of agenda item number 8, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Agenda item number 9, a resolution adopting a new design of the seal of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Whereas for many years the design of the seal of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas has not changed, and whereas the existing design has done yeoman's service, but the time has come to retire the design and adopt a new, updated, and appealing design, preserving the city's motto, City Progress, and presenting a more contemporary look. And whereas the change in the design of the seal is one means of declaring a new beginning for the city and confirmation of its resolve to move forward with optimism for the revitalization of the community in the years ahead. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that the existing design of the seal of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas will be retired over the next 12 months or replaced by a new design presented in images 5 through 9 attached here 2 in an orderly process beginning immediately.
Move for adoption.
It's been moved and seconded that agenda item number 9 be adopted. Any discussion? Councilman President.
Just for the public's knowledge, can you please explain to them how it, I know in this little discussion we're not talking about paying for the logo and the changes in the design, but can you let them know where the funding is gonna come for the logo change and the seal change?
Essentially, this year's and next year's and continuing budgets, we're really talking about the cost for new adhesives on vehicles, for business cards, for flags and letterhead, etc. Now, part of the presentation was also the intent to add a couple of new flagpoles so that we can display our Pine Bluff flag as well as the Arkansas flag in front of the city complex and have an entryway. And that money, once we have completed the estimate process, which I think we have and will probably be presented in the next meeting, we would look to take those funds from the Mayor's Special Projects Fund. Thank you. Any, Councilmember Brown?
And so will that design be ready so we can put that, you know, start putting a new building, and you want to roll it all out?
After y'all vote on this, yes. That is the aim. That's one of the reasons we want to go ahead and do this, so that we can make the logo designs and the seal and all of those things official and turn the suite of logos and designs over to printers and the people who would actually turning that design into whatever merch or the adhesive on the vehicles or whatever. And then everything else will be done electronically, which will be good that will be time. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All of those who wish to vote for the adoption of agenda item number 9 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. And now for the announcement. Miss Matkins literacy class, Saturday, March 28th, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. at the Arts and Science Center for Southeast Arkansas. Miss Matkins literacy class is an interactive program designed to build early reading skills through movement, music, and play for children ages 3 to 6. The registration deadline is Tuesday, March 24th, and is sponsored by McFarland Eye Care. Next, we have the Women's Self-Defense class, Saturday, March 21st, 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Arts and Science Center for Southeast Arkansas. This class focuses on confidence, personal safety, and practical self-defense techniques in a supportive environment. It's open to all experience levels, and the registration deadline is Tuesday, March 17, 2026. Next, we have Draft Day, Southeast Arkansas, scheduled for Tuesday, April 7th at the Pine Bluff Convention Center. The Economic Development Alliance for Jefferson County, in partnership with Be Pro, Be Proud, will host Draft Day, Southeast Arkansas. This event connects high school students with employers based on their interests, skills, and workforce opportunities. Then we have Dialoguing with Delta, Saturday, April 25th at 10 a.m. at the Arts and Science Center for Southeast Arkansas at 701 South Main Street. Dialoguing with Delta is an annual educational event for students from elementary through college. The program is presented by the Pine Bluff Alumni Chapter. It says, yes, okay. By the Pine Bluff Alumni, and Delta Eta chapters of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, in collaboration with the University of Arkansas and Pine Bluff School of Education. Registration is now open for individuals and groups. Hidden Figures of Pine Bluff, Women's History Month celebration. Saturday, March 28th, 2026, 6 p.m., Pine Bluff Convention Center. Join the 4th annual Hidden Figures of Pine Bluff celebration, honoring 11 outstanding local women for their contributions to the community. And the 2026 State of the City Address will be held on Monday, March 30th at 6 p.m. at Pine Bluff Convention Center, where Mayor Flowers will present updates on the city's progress, initiatives, and vision for the future during the 2026 State of the City Address. And finally, Waste Management Contract Transition, Cart Retrieval Update. The City of Pine Bluff's contract with the Waste Management ended October 31st, 2025, after serving approximately 13,500 households. Approximately 1,000 company-owned carts remain with residents. Residents who still have waste management cards are asked to contact the mayor's office for their address and contact information so pickup can be coordinated. And I'll say this, I know we have been sharing that announcement for some time. We are prayerfully in the process of finalizing what that will look like. We are working diligently with Waste Management to figure out who will do what it'll cost and who will pay what, and that is the holdup. But we still need to collect information of those who still have containers that need to be picked up, because we don't know who that is, and neither does Waste Management. So we still need that information. We appreciate your patience, and again, ask you to contact us if you need that service. Councilmember Frazier.
I wanted to announce that we're going to have support the United KGS Breast Cancer Support Awareness in partnership with Lyra Ministries and Parenting Resource Agencies on April 10th, Friday, April 10th, at the library. The doors will open at 5. The movie starts at 6. We're going to show The Overcomer. Is to support breast cancer awareness. And truth be told, we are full. 100 capacity with the wait list, and I am right now in the midst of trying to find location. So if we are able to find another location, I'm sure it's probably gonna be way more than that, that will be in attendance. So those who would like to attend, please, still call me at 870-575-3619. And I will put you on the wait list, but we are trying our best to find a larger venue so that everybody could attend, especially since we're talking about breast cancer awareness. And I'm sure that each and every last one of us at one point or another, whether it's us personally, family members or friends, or someone we know in the community has battled cancer. So if you would like to attend, please do so by calling me at 870-575-3619. And the chorus cakes, custom cakes, is going to be our caterer for that evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. With nothing, yes, with no further announcements, I will adjourn, and we will be followed by two individuals who have requested to make public comments on non-agenda items. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those who wish to vote for adjournment, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. That's not weak. Hold on, we might, okay, then I had, is Mr. Franklin here? Okay, and neither is Melinda Grieve. Okay, we're done, y'all. Thank you for your patience.